They have something like that called the Missouri Compact or something like that. And that also needs to be removed. America needs to do right by Black Americans. I say again, America needs to do right by Black Americans. And the only way to accomplish real justice and peace is reparations. Money in the amount of $3 million apiece per Black American. That's for all the pain and suffering and murder and terrorism of our ancestors and Black Americans today. $3 million is not enough, but we'll take it. Anything under $1 million is an insult. It's a smack in the face. I'm watching the news and hearing the protesters chant, "No justice, no peace." And the news lady saying, "Where do we go from here?" The protesters, I say, the protesters need a sure goal to focus all their energy towards a complete achievement. We have the answer. The answer is reparations. Reparations. Reparations for justice and peace. It's reparations. America, pay us what you owe us. America, pay us what you owe us for the crimes of kidnapping, slavery, crimes of humanity you committed against us and continue to do. I appeal to the United Nations. I appeal to the world. This is what America needs to do. This is what the European Union needs to do. To account, to atone for all of their crimes that they committed against us, against black people, people of color, the descendants of slaves. The KKK and hate groups and all those who are influenced by the spirit of hate, the spirit of evil, wicked bigotry, have taken their sheets off and hid themselves in police uniforms and other positions of authority. And this has been happening for decades, for centuries in fact. They operate under the shroud of religion, disguised as a faith-based church. The protesters are doing a good job, I say. The protesters are doing a good job, but we need new solid laws introduced, passed, and implemented. I say again, we need new solid laws introduced, passed, and implemented. Please focus achieving this. Please focus achieving this. I understand you're protesting. I understand the entertainers out there singing songs and whatnot, and you know, I understand the emotion, but it's all for naught if we don't get real laws, solid laws, introduced, passed, and implemented right away. So please focus achieving this. Talk to your state representatives and senators and the U.S. state representatives and the U.S. senators and the president and or vice president and Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Cory Booker. Seek them out. Talk to the lawmakers and get them to implement new laws and enforce the laws that are already on the books. Some of these laws are already on the books, but they haven't been enforced. That is the best interest. That is in the best interest of the people. That is in the best interest of all the people. That is in the best interest of black people. And dismantle the laws that discriminate against black people. It's time for America to pay us what they owe us. Time to give account for all the crimes of humanity they committed against us. It's time. It's time. It's time, America, to give account for all the crimes of humanity that you perpetually commit against us. Whatever, I'm talking to you protesters and everybody that's in the Black Lives Matter organization and the NAACP and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and all those who want to make a change for a better life, not only for themselves, but for the generations to come. Whatever you can do to make our endeavor a reality is greatly appreciated. I appreciate you. I also written the U.S. or the United States Supreme Court justices. It basically says the same thing. Added a few other inserts, but I'll read it briefly. To all the United States Supreme Court justices, the Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Honorable John Roberts, the Honorable Clarence Thomas, the Honorable Sonia Sotomayor, the Honorable Sonia Sotomayor, the Honorable Samuel Alito when he was alive, the Honorable Eleanor Kagan, and the Honorable Stephen Breyer. These are our requests and legal demands from the government of the United States of America and the U.S. Supreme Court for its participation legalizing twisted statutes and laws supporting slavery of black people in America and abroad. We, the black people, / African Americans, the descendants of slaves, hereby petition the United States Supreme Court and the United States Congress of both houses and the President of the United States of America to award all native-born black Americans reparations in the sum amount of $3 million apiece per black American born in the United States who is from African descent, plus 40 acres and a mule, in other words, 40 acres of land and a farm tractor of our choice, be it a Case or John Deere or other name brand tractor. The 40 acres and a mule is the original agreement the U.S. Congress made to our black ancestors for partial reparations. Then they, the Congress, reneged on the agreement. Black folks got nothing in return for being kidnapped, enslaved, raped, tortured, and murdered, physical, mental, psychological, physiological, emotionally terrorized, and financially disenfranchised. For 400 plus years, black people have been terrorized. In America and abroad, we have post-traumatic stress disorder from this. And post-traumatic stress disorder is a psychiatric disorder that can occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event such as a natural disaster, a traumatic event such as a serious accident, a terrorist act, which we have been terrorized constantly throughout our lives, then some. For 400 plus years, our children are now feeling this anxiety, this disorder, because of the police brutality and the killings. War, combat, rape, or violent personal assault. This is These are the things that come from post-traumatic disorder. Black people today have this, I have this, and America is to blame. So we demand that $3 million and 40 acres of land be given to every black American who wants it, with the option to exchange the land for money. We also request that a Case or John Deere tractor or any brand name tractor of our choice with farming attachments, tools, and accessories, a wheat and corn harvester, combine, and dump truck to catch the produce, Also, we request 4 years paid free college, tuition and books and housing included for every Native Black American who wants to attend college, because Black people in slavery days were forbidden to learn how to read and write due to the laws that were created and implemented by the United States Supreme Court and all of the United States in the Union. And if Black people were found reading or writing, they were severely punished and whipped until their skin was covered in whelps and cuts. Painful and bloodied their bodies were. Many Black slaves who are my ancestors were killed for self-educating themselves. For those who are too old to attend college or don't have the aptitude to participate very well in college, we ask the court and/or Congress and/or the U.S. President to give them and/or us the option to exchange the full value of free college tuition and books and housing for money instead. The reparations can and should be distributed through a benefits disbursement card, for example, like Direct Express or Comerica or Transamerica Bank debit card or MasterCard or Visa, like how Social Security or tribal Native Americans receive reparations and or their benefits today. All these cash benefits paid for by the U.S. federal government, state and local city governments, including the UK, Britain, England, Belgium, Portugal, France, Spain, and a couple more foreign state governments of the European Union, because they participated in the North American transatlantic slave trade. Reparations, money, monetary damages, restitution, a recompense, apology compensation payments, whatever you want to call it, to be paid in full forthwith for all the malicious, heinous, evil, wicked crimes of kidnapping, slavery, terrorism, rape, torture, murder, and genocide of the African American Black people, descendants of slaves. Again, we request for a special law to be immediately passed and implemented as the law of the land. Black people are an endangered people, and if any African American, Black American, or person of color is physically, psychologically, emotionally, and or verbally abused, terrorized, and or murdered in cold blood by any law enforcement officer or agent, or any person who holds an oath of official duties, or is employed in a correctional institution who violates said laws, will pay a mandatory penalty fine of $1 million to the victim. And if they live, and if not living, unfortunately, because of the heinous murder of the victim, the $1 million fine will go to the victim's spouse or next of kin. Furthermore, the law enforcement officer or officers charged with the crimes will go to prison for a very, very long time. Furthermore, the police department and the city and state of said department will automatically award the victim and or victim's family the sum amount of $40 million. This new law will deter and stop police brutality, misconduct, and the killing of Black people and people of color in America and hopefully other countries. The new law will stop the abuse of authority of all law enforcement agents and officers and court judges everywhere. For every Black person killed in cold blood or illegally jailed or imprisoned, when released from false imprisonment, they will receive an automatic $40 million in monetary damages and $20 million in punitive damages. The amount of monetary damages can be amended from $40 million to $30 million, no less. This new law implemented right away will altogether deter and stop the police brutality, misconduct and killings, murder, and modern-day lynchings and perpetual genocide of African American Black people. Please grant our petition, requests, and demands for government monetary reparations forthwith, respectfully. Petitioners: Vincent Jerome Taylor and all of Black America. Thank you. So I implore you, please grant us reparations. It's long overdue. The evidence is extremely overwhelming. It's in all the history books, it's in the museums, and it's right in our face on the news, on TV, on streaming sites, every minute of the day. It's in the stores, everywhere. America, it's time to pay us what you owe us. Reparations in the sum amount of $3 million per Black American citizen. 40 acres and a mule. John Deere tractor or case or any brand name tractor and combine of our choice. With farming tools and accessories. 4 years free college, tuition, and books and housing included. And by this, you will have made amends for all of the sins and the crimes of humanity that you committed and still commit to this very day against us. Thank you for listening. And Godspeed. Keep up the good work, protesters. Peace and love.